وسلم اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله. Alhamdulillah, our gratitudes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for having able us to be here tonight on a very blessed Thursday evening in a state of good health and iman. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase our iman and our taqwa until our very last days. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. So this is the first zikr for the year. Alhamdulillah. Correct or not? So make sure we start our year correct. We can be doing anything else on this Thursday evening, watching TV, the latest on Netflix, Cobra Kai, since the new season is out. Don't think I don't know. Whatever else that we're watching lah. And then after that we miss our Fajr, miss our Isha, miss our Zuhur because of Netflix. But may Allah protect some of the people who work there, inshallah. But Allah give hidayah to the viewers, inshallah. Zikir is a serious matter. Why you are laughing? Come here not for laughing. Correct, Fikri? Very serious man. Alhamdulillah. Okay, what did the Sheikh say in this Thursday? Or what did the Murshid say in the Khanka? So there's a story. The story. The clever man comes to the Khanka in order to place his will into the hands of the perfect one to whom he has given his hands. The stupid man, not I say, he uses the word, comes to the Khanka in order to vindicate himself. Wow, different, So the clever man comes to the Khanka in order to place his will in the hands of the perfect one to whom he has given his hand. The not so clever man comes to the Khanka in order to vindicate himself. The clever man does not grasp at the burden of his previous knowledge, but leaves it at the gates of the Khanka. And for this reason, the path for him is a current that leads to the ocean of truth. The not so clever man tries to swim against the current, and each hour grows weaker. To keep his body afloat and prolong for himself the pleasure of resistance, he reaches for every bush that grows in the bank and uses all of his strength just to avoid being carried into the gloom of fear, emptiness, and oblivion. So, very simple nasiha. Every time, today we can be the clever one, tomorrow we can be the... Okay, you all call yourself that, I did not say that. Sometimes it's like that. If not, I cannot find leceh. So, how do we come to the Khanka? That's most important. Not just the Khanka, everywhere we're going to remember Allah. You get what I'm trying to say? When we look at the great awliya Allah, Salihin, why they come to the Khanka is not just to be with the Murshid, etc. But the goal is what? To be with Allah. That is the goal of Tariqah. Right? We were talking about this just now. The goal of Tariqah is taqarrub ila Allah, to be close to Allah. What is stopping us from being close to Allah? Nothing else except for what we carry inside. You are not a hijab. A lot of people say, there is nothing that is stopping you from being with Allah except for yourself. Correct? A lot of people say that, right? I say that's nonsense. Why? You need yourself to be close to Allah. The problem is, when we try to carry all of the fear, when we carry all of the what? The worries, we carry all of the burdens into Tariqah. Then Tariqah becomes what? A 15 episode series that doesn't end. Series 1 finished, we subscribe by again, series 2. It's a continuous thing. Tariqah is not about what? Or every day same problem. You know, some of us watch what? New York 99, what? Brooklyn 99, what? Brooklyn 99. Tahulah saya cerita gini. Some of you watch that, right? No? No, maybe quite a good show. Old show, yeah. All this kind of thing is like a series about nothing. You know, remember Seinfeld? Right? It's a series about what? Nothing. My teachers will be very angry with me about teaching tariqah like this. Don't make your journey to Allah about nothing. When Allah has given you everything. Hasbunallahu wa ni'man mawlahu wa ni'man wala hawla wala quwwata illa billahil aliyil azim. This is the motto of tariqah. This is what it means to be taqarrub ila Allah. When we're walking to Allah, we say Hasbunallahu wa, sufficient for me is Allah. How do you know Allah is sufficient for you? He has given you everything that you need. How do you know if you have everything that you need? Is because you are still alive. The day we take our last breath means there is nothing already for us in this dunya. Simple. Risky is like that. Everything that you need is already there. So don't bring that into tariqah. You come to tariqah, I don't have my risky. Cannot be, because you're still alive. The minute we take our last breath, then there is what? No more, nothing for else here. But the Sufis are telling us, according to Tawheed, leave that to Allah. That has already been done by Allah. Hasbunallahu wa ni'man mawla. The best of ni'ma mawla wa ni'man nasir. He is the one that will give us the best of ni'ma, the best of victory. What is the best of victory? To have husnul khatimah. And to be having a lot of peace of heart. A heart that doesn't waver. Just like how many series we're watching, it close to change. What we do with our TV screens is a reflection of our hearts. Not bad, huh? People used to talk about mirror, right? The TV is a mirror. What are we watching on our TV is a reflection of what is we are longing for in our hearts. Because it is empty. So we fill it up with this mirror of images and illusions. And sometimes we come with those mirrors into the khanqah. We keep talking about things that doesn't matter with our suluk at all. It's not to make us selfish, no. But at the khanqah, there's a specific focus. You don't go to the Singapore Stock Exchange, right? And talk about zikir, do you? Do you do that? No, do you go to the clinic and talk about zikir, medical clinic? Doctor, you know zikir, huh? What will a doctor do to you? Go to another hospital. But where do you go to talk about Allah? At the khanqah. But we're not able to see that because we have all these different Seinfeld, the different mirror on the wall, show us the best sitcom of them all. Well, come on. That's the reason why when we do dhikr, there is no hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. When Allah has said, say Allah, and leave them to their play. Call Allah, say Allah, and leave everything to their play. So when you say Allah here, what should run away and play? Your nafs. Everything. Why? Because that is Ismullah al-Haq. Which means when that name has come, all of the ignorance should disappear. When scholars teach us about Tawheed, we study about Aqidah, about the sifat of Allah, sifat salbiyah, ma'nawiyah, sifat ma'ani. Betul tak? What is wajib, all these kind of things we have to know and memorize. That is the knowledge of it. But for the Sufis, they take that and they make it into a reality within themselves. So if that sifat doplo is already a reality within you, then automatically whatever waswasa we have should disappear. All of those who write the books of theology are mostly Sufis. Why? only they can word their experiences of Tawheed. It is a waste when we study theology without experiencing theology. So many people try to understand, example, the journey of Sufism. When they forget, it is actually not understanding, but what? Drowning. Experiencing pun, electrical shock pun experience. Kejap. You come here, you eat a bit of, thing, I experience the khanka. Correct? But is it the same for people who have drowned in Tawheed? Itu baru hasbunallahu wa. That is the reality of people who have drowned themselves. They did not just come to take, but they have come to drown themselves. And then, only then after they have drowned themselves, what do they say? La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. This is a statement of those who understand Tawheed. When, our great Imam Ash'ari, right, the founder of the Ash'ari school of thought, of theology, how did he find his Tawheed? Through Tawbah. He did 2 cycles of prayer of Hajat, oh Allah, guide me the way. It was not just a theological academic experience. His opening to Tawheed, that became something that we all hold on to as our Aqidah, is through what? His prayer, his munajat to Allah. We come here every Thursday, munajat to Allah for what? For His oneness. Oh Allah, allow me to be in the presence of your oneness, so I can say La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahil aliyil azim. This is the zikr we give for people who have a lot of what? Running thoughts, waswasa. We were just reading about this. The knowledge of Tawheed for the Sufis, it is through dhawq. And the Sheikh translates dhawq as perasaan yang murni. A heart that has pure experiences, spiritual experiences. But pure spiritual experiences means a spiritual experience that is void of what? Waswas. Void of what? Hasad. Void of what? Fear. Of whom? Of Allah. Having clear belief and thoughts on Allah. No doubts at all. No room for doubts for Allah. Baru hasbunallahu wa. And this is how we must come to the khanka. If the khanka is just about experiencing, then never would we drown. If the khanka is just about organizing things, then we will never experience. The khanka is about what? Drowning yourself in la hawla wa la. So are we the clever ones? Inshallah. Yakinna. It's difficult, but it's not impossible. So this year, in our experience of walking on the path to Allah, taqarrub ila Allah. This is our motto for this year. To be close to, not just to be close, but to drown in this oneness of Allah. Which is what? La hawla wa la. So there are problems. There will be problems, there will be illnesses, there will be days that you are down, etc. But when we start to realize that, hey, I'm on a journey to closeness to Allah, which means what? I must be like the clever one. I'm just here to surrender myself to this way that has been walked by all of the awliya Allah Salihin. This is not our way. People nowadays say, chart your own way, make your spiritual journey, make a journal of the journey to Jurong. Orang gitu kan? Journal a journey to Jurong. If you say you have your own journey, you can open your own tariqah already, marhaba. Our journey, we're just following the people who have walked on that journey. Apalah kita ada. Betul tak? Because there's so much I, even in the journey of taking away the I arises. This is the problem with us today. But we go to extremes when we say it's not about the I, oh then I don't exist. Macam mana? You're still here eating the biryani we serve. The popiah Cik Amnah bawa, masih makan, you're still here. It is the heart. Where do you attach your heart? Is the heart still drowning in, I have this, that? Yes, those are your administrative matters, your daily self. This is what Sheikh Abba Yazid al-Bustami said, right? Just now we were reading in class. What did he say? When I sleep, I see Allah. Wow. When I wake up, I see Allah. What else? I see nothing except for Allah. Macam mana? Apa? This is dhawq. Is not to be understood like that. It's something that he said out of his spiritual closeness experience. Through what? Through Tawheed. Because dia punya la ilah, there is nothing that is worthy of my every atom of my being illallah, except for you, Ya Allah. So when we go like this, the image that we should see after your murshid and the silsila is the Prophet. Why? Because Allah has mentioned the journey for us. You know, your whole suluk, your whole journey of zikr can be found in Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. I've explained this before. When Allah says Inna Allah wa Inna Allah, verily Allah is one predicate. Wa mala, two predicates. So one sentence has two predicates. Very rare do you see a sentence with two predicates. So one sentence has two predicates, which means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the angels. What have they done? With salawat on Prophet. For the Sufiya, where is Allah? Above everything else. Not in a place, not in a time. Which means he has done his salawat on Prophet ﷺ at the place of mahabbah. That means his salawat upon Prophet is based just on pure love. And it is continuous. Love, outpouring, focus on Holy Prophet. Not that Prophet asked for it, but Allah out of His love gave it to Holy Prophet. Then Allah says, oh, you who are close to me, who are they? Wa malaika. Those who are malaika arsh, hawla arash, those malaika around the arash, those who are holding the heavens, etc. Every single malaika, send your blessings upon, send your prayers upon Rasul ﷺ. Which means from the level of mahabbah until the level of nasut. So the salawat continuous from mahabbah until, when the salawat reaches nasut, he says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who are in this dunya, right? O you who believe. Ya here is to show what? Distance. Because you are far. In two ways this ya can be understood. One is ya because you're higher than me in terms of a'la, instead of your ranks. Another one is ya Salima, maknanya Salima jauh. So you're asking Salima to call. You're calling out Salima who is very far from me. So the ya here denotes what? This? Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. O you who believe, if you want to be close to us, you want to go and rise up the ranks, what must you do? Yet, this is the one thing that we see a lot of people take out in the discourse of Ma'rifah. That the Holy Prophet ﷺ becomes the way, the aqidah back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for the ardent lovers of the Prophet, when they come to the khanqa of Rasulullah ﷺ, They only remember him. Everything else is left outside. That's why, like we say, Ya Sultan, Salam Alaikum, Ya Sayyid, Salam Alaikum, Ya Ashik Ahmad Kabir, Salam Alaikum. We say that when he went to Medina to Munawwara, when he wanted to visit his grandfather, the Holy Prophet ﷺ, the guards at the maqam of the Prophet didn't allow it to him. He says, this is my grandfather, allow me to visit him. He says, no. So he gave, Assalamu alaikum ya jaddi. Assalamu alaikum, my grandfather. The Holy Prophet ﷺ stood up and gave his hand to Imam Sayyid Ahmad Kabir al-Rifai from his maqam to salam. When the guards saw that, the guards started to what? Poke themselves, because they were afraid. Accidentally they start to poke themselves. Shaykh Ahmad Kabir al-Rifai then just wiped over the wounds of these guards and they were all cured. My brothers and sisters, for the lovers of the Prophet, they come into his presence like a clever man. This is what it means to come into the Khanqa. So Shaykh Ahmad Kabir is with where? With Allah. Where? Which level? Mahabbah. Mahabbah to Allah, can you minus out Rasul? Cannot. Because Allah is constantly sending what? If we have this as our Aqidah, La hawla wa la hasbunallahu wa. Oh, senang. It's not something that you try to theorize. It's not something that you try to put on an exam paper, and then, if you cannot pass, you can stay back. It's tak ada. The Sufis, you cannot pass is when you are terlepas at dunia. That's for the Sufis. The Sufis exam is very easy. There was once this sheikh, he wanted all of his students to graduate, right? We all know this very famous story. I heard it from my grandfather. So he gave every one of his students a live chicken. Then the sheikh told the murids all, you must go and slaughter this chicken when no one would see you. So of course, everybody went to slaughter belakang, they go to behind Sister Salima's place, they slaughter. They go to Aura, they slaughter. All them stand in front, line up in front of what? Lilith ni. Go in front of duck, they slaughter the chicken. And then what happened? Except for this one mamat, he came back and said, Sheikh, everybody laugh at him. Yeah, you leceh lah. People go duck and slaughter. Go, you leceh. You dah dulu you leceh. People say like that lah. And then they even put it on IG. You leceh, IG story. This kind of things. I'm doing a 2021 adaptation of the story. Okay. 22. Oh, lupa. Sorry. Then what happened? So everybody say, the sheikh said, everybody has slaughtered the chicken? Yeah. Okay. Except for one. Sheikh, I cannot slaughter. Why? Because everywhere I go, I'm certain Allah will see me. So the sheikh says, all of you fail except for this Muhammad. Only he can pass. That's how the Sufi graduate. Not with the exam paper, but with what? With Tawheed burning in their hearts. Because when you have that kind of Tawheed, very little chances that you will be wrong. But that Tawheed can only be achieved through the way of the Holy Prophet. So that's how we come to the Khanqah. Even if we have knowledge of the sciences, we need to now inculcate the presence in the heart. No one is perfect, including the Shaykh. But when we attach ourselves to Prophet, the way is perfect. The way, هذا صراط, the tariq is perfect. Because it's the tariq of who? Rasulullah. That's what we inherit. Yes, then we have names, Chishtiya, Qadriya, Naqshbandiya, Suhrawardiya, Shadhuliya, Qalandariya, whatever we call ourselves. But the way is still the way of attaching ourselves to Nur Muhammad through the way of Ma'rifah, through the way of Mushahada, Mukashafa, Mahabbah, and the way of Yaqeen to Allah. I hope, inshallah, this will give us an understanding of Tawheed for this year, inshallah, that we can graduate this year with full of conviction of the nur of Allah that is lying in our hearts, inshallah, and that we are constantly always connected to Allah, and that it is through the blessings of Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that all of our worries, all of our problems, all of our whatever is taken care of, inshallah. And the next time we come back to the khanqa in a state of khafif, lightness, not because of our knowledge, but because of the spirit of Tawheed that is burning in our hearts, inshallah. And that everywhere we go, we share the spirit of Tawheed, and that everybody is ignited and everybody is connected with the barakah of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the barakah of all of the mashaykh in our silsila, and that everybody becomes connected as well, and that we go into Jannah together below the tutelage of Sultan Awliya Shah Abdul Qadir Jilani and all of our the great Sahaba and the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen, ameen, ya Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah, just one announcement or a few announcements. Number one, this Saturday is our monthly